So I'm going to keep it to 10 minutes. If you've got questions or want to have a further conversation, please do. I thought I'd just highlight one example from the policy work and how we make the policy work, turn that policy work into practice for the organizations that we work with. So I thought I'd focus on households affected by the benefit cap. I've got here a new navigation screen. So this is our Lift platform, which is the analytics we do on councils' benefits data. So this can show you a summary of all households. So I'll start there, and which households you might want to focus on to carry out take-up campaigns or look at trends or see what's changed from month to month. We'll drill down to a street view so you can identify and pinpoint support to those individual households. I won't spend any time on the outcome tracker today just because of time, but we can see the impact. I suppose what the outcome tracker could do is if you carried out a take-up campaign, you'd be able to see afterwards the impact that you'd actually had on people's incomes. So you can actually track and evaluate the impact of that support. So if you're spending £2,000 on a take-up campaign, you can see you'll be able to say to the funder, your department head, that actually that's brought in £136,000 to residents. So it's £2,000 well spent, for example. So the next piece there is just to click into the Lift summary screen. So you can see that here. You can see actually a whole range of households on what's happening to poverty. I think being able to track that over time as the pandemic hits, and sometimes the impacts of the pandemic can take a number of months to sort of flow through, but you can see, for example, take-up rates and poverty levels, in this case, rising to September 2020 here. What's happening to poverty in your area across a range of different measures of poverty as well. So you don't just have to narrow it down to relative income poverty. You can look at financial resilience and other things. These are the households affected by different benefit reforms. I'll focus on these 343 that are affected by the benefit cap in a moment. But there's a whole range of other actions. So maximizing benefits was something that came up in the poll earlier. Tackling debt was another area. We often help councils tackle homelessness, support families with children, particularly where children's services are involved and are able to support some of that work. Employment support we talked a little bit about, and discretionary support. So getting that increase in funding that you've got through the winter grant or through DHPs or through other support that central government's provided, being able to get that to the residents that need it the most is perhaps the next level to focus on. And if I click into this 343 households affected by the benefit cap, you can see that actually I've clicked in here. This is a household view, and I've looked just at households affected by the benefit cap. Just go back, so you close, so you can change. There's 34,000 households. You'll see how quickly I can drill down to those that are affected by the benefit cap here, or any other reforms. You can focus on those affected by the bedroom tax, those households that are in arrears as well, the 2-child limit, any one of these policies that you might want to focus on. You can actually pull down a list of these households. So there's 343 households here. If I just click into the map, hit download, and cross tab, that will pull off like an Excel spreadsheet of all of these households. I can load them up, drill down into any one of them, and start to see what I might actually be able to do to help that household. This will take just a moment or two. So if I just click one of these households, I'll just select this one. It's a family with 2 children, which I think is interesting, just to be able to see actually there are families with 2 children being affected by the benefit cap now, particularly if you're in central London. And I'll zero in on this case. So this is a lone parent with 2 children, not in work. You can actually see what's been happening to their income, what's happening to their outgoings. You can see what support they might be missing out on. So actually, are they getting NHS prescriptions? Are they getting free school meals? Are they getting a warm home discount? You can actually load up this case and any of the 343 cases like it. So if I click into this, I can load it up into the benefit and budgeting calculator. So if I start here, I've just loaded up a single 2 children. I just added in the name as a demonstrator there. We know she's living in London, renting a 2-bed property. She's currently not in work. She's got childcare costs. And then if you click on results, you can see that her take-home income is £2,600 per month. But when you look at that, firstly, you can see immediately what support she might be missing out on and other things you might want to make her aware of. She might be missing out. She's got rent above the local housing allowance. She might, in this instance, be better off under universal credit. You have to look quite carefully, and you can use the calculator to do this to see whether or not she'd be better off under universal credit in the long term, given the uncertainty over the £20 uplift. You can see that actually she's missing out, potentially missing out on the warm home discount, free prescriptions, food vouchers. She could get a lower Wi-Fi tariff. She could possibly get a lower mobile phone tariff. So you can actually see ways in which you might be able to, you can actually practically help her. And if you're speaking to her in person, you can actually maybe just show her. So you've got a number of scenarios here. You've got her current situation where she's capped and she's getting some extra money through council tax support, for example. And actually what happens as soon as, so this is her not affected by the cap. Her circumstances might have changed. She's now affected by the cap. And actually what might happen if she were to move into work. So you can see actually, she can see the benefits of taking, like finding a way to become exempt from the cap, ideally through work, and carry out another, you can create a different scenario. Perhaps she might be eligible for ESA. You can kind of create a new scenario by adding in this scenario, changing income and earnings, and being able to talk to her about actually what are her options. I will pause there because I think you can take that forward in a number of ways into budget, looking at costs. And I'll pause there because really what we're looking for, one, if we can help you now to help your residents or the people you work with to maximize their incomes. Again, it's just a very quick and easy tool. Whether you're new to the benefit system or already an expert, I think it can help to make sure everyone's getting all of the support they're eligible for, particularly when the rules are changing so often. Zoe and the team work really hard to make sure the accuracy of this tool is absolutely comprehensive and you can rely upon it. And then secondly, to mention again, this grant that we've got from Nesta. So again, just invest on the client-facing side of this. So we've been commissioned to develop an app to essentially help individuals look at next month's universal credit. So we've always had this tool to be able to kind of look at income over the next month or the next 12 months using the universal credit calendar, but people's incomes can vary. So actually, if you know what your income's likely to be, currently DWP don't tell you how much you might get. What we're developing at the moment is a tool that will keep all of the information in this saved, be personalized to an individual, potentially allow the organization where the individual gives you access to kind of see an overview of what's happening to people's incomes, so you can jump in and help where necessary. And but really help the individual to plan ahead and see how much income they might have next month when you take into account the fact that they earn more in the previous month. What's going to happen to their universal credit? In that case, it's going to go down. So there's quite a lot that we've got in our pipeline of plans for this calculator, and we'd love for those of you that are on the webinar to talk to us more about what they want to need from it. So I'll stop sharing my screen now because I've got a messy desktop. And Janet, if there are any questions or anything else anyone wants to cover, I'm more than happy to do so now.